Let me ask you something straight. How long are you going to let stress own you? How many more days will you wake up with that tight feeling in your chest, that racing mind, that silent panic behind your smile? How long will you keep pretending you're fine when inside you're just trying to survive? That ends today. You didn't come this far in life to be controlled by stress. You came here to take control back, and it starts right now. Stress is not your enemy. Let me say that again. Stress is not your enemy. It's your signal. It's your wake-up call. It's life whispering, or sometimes screaming, something needs to change. Stress only becomes the enemy when we ignore the message and get addicted to the feeling. See, most people treat stress like it's a part of their identity. They say things like, "I'm just a stressed person," or "That's just who I am." No, that's not who you are. That's who you've practiced being. And anything you've practiced, you can unlearn. You can choose a new emotional home. Here's the truth. Stress is a habit, and like any habit, it's fueled by repetition and reward. We stress because it gives us a false sense of control. It makes us feel like we care, but real power isn't in worry, it's in action. You want to end stress, then train yourself to take action faster than your fear. The reason most people are stuck in stress is because they're focused on what they can't control. Let me tell you, if you focus on things outside your control, like other people's opinions, the past, the economy, or the weather, you are going to feel weak. You are going to feel anxious. But the moment you shift your focus to what you can control, your attitude, your energy, your actions, everything changes. Here's the thing. Your mind is a survival machine. Its number one job is to keep you safe, not happy. So if you're letting your mind run the show, it's going to look for what's wrong, what could go wrong, and what has gone wrong. That's the default setting. But guess what? You're not a machine. You're the master. You have the power to reprogram your mind. You end stress not by avoiding life, but by mastering your state, and state is a choice. You can change your state in an instant by changing three things: your focus, your language, and your physiology. Let's break that down. Focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you keep focusing on problems, you'll stay stuck in stress. But if you focus on solutions, growth, and what you can do, suddenly the weight lifts. You feel stronger because you're no longer feeding the fear. You're feeding the fire. Language, what you say to yourself matters. Are you telling yourself, "I'm overwhelmed. I can't take this. I'm drowning"? Change the script. Say, "I've got this. This is a challenge I can grow through. I'm bigger than this moment." Your words don't just describe your reality. They shape it. Physiology, move your body. When you're stressed, your body closes down. Shoulders slump, breathing gets shallow, your face tightens. Shift it, stand tall, breathe deep, shake it out, jump, scream, dance, whatever it takes. Just break the pattern. Your body is the fastest way to change your mind, but I'm not here to give you theory. I'm here to tell you that real change starts with a decision. You can't casually wish for a stress-free life. You've got to demand it from yourself. You've got to decide that you will no longer tolerate a life ruled by fear, doubt, or worry. Now listen to me. Life will still throw challenges at you. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will shift. But that doesn't mean you have to suffer. Pain is part of life, but suffering is optional. You suffer when you resist what is. But when you accept it, when you lean into it, when you use it, you grow stronger. You become unstoppable. Stress is a signal that you're living beneath your potential. It's a reminder that there's more in you. And let me tell you something. There is more in you, more strength, more wisdom, more courage, more power, but you'll never access it if you stay stuck in fear. So stop playing small. Stop shrinking to fit the stress. Stand up, breathe in, get loud, get strong. Decide, "I'm not going to live in this anxious fog anymore. I'm not going to wait for life to calm down before I rise up. I'm going to rise now and let life adjust to me. Make this your standard. I don't manage stress. I delete it. I don't negotiate with fear. I dominate it. I don't run from pressure. I thrive under it, because here's the truth. Pressure isn't your enemy either. Pressure is the price of growth. Diamonds are made under pressure. Champions are built under pressure. You are being shaped right now, and the stronger the pressure, the greater your breakthrough. So if you've been stressed lately, don't run from it. Face it, use it. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What's the opportunity here? What strength is this moment trying to reveal? When you ask a better question, you get a better answer. And when you live from answers, not anxiety, you become the leader of your life. No more excuses, no more stories, no more stress running the show. From this moment on, you are in charge. You choose your focus. You own your state. You move with purpose. You speak with power. Stress doesn't own you. You own your life. Now go out there, breathe, stand tall, and show the world what happens when a human being chooses freedom over fear. This is your time. End stress now and live full out. Stress is not your enemy, it's your signal to evolve. Most people look at stress as this overwhelming negative force that invades their peace, ruins their mindset, and pushes them into chaos. But the truth is, stress shows up when something within you or around you needs to change. It's a red flag, a flashing light on the dashboard of your life, trying to get your attention. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to direct you. Every moment you feel stress, it's your body and mind giving you feedback that something is misaligned. Maybe it's your routine, maybe it's your relationships, maybe it's the way you think, the story you're telling yourself, the standards you've been tolerating. But make no mistake, stress isn't random. It's a signal that demands growth. The problem is, we've been trained to silence that signal. We numb it with distractions, suppress it with comfort, avoid it with excuses, but that only makes it grow louder. Ignoring stress is like turning off a fire alarm while the building is still burning. The real transformation happens when you lean into it, when you say, "Why am I feeling this way?" and you get radically honest with yourself. Maybe you've been out of integrity with your values. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations. Maybe you've been living in fear of failure or rejection and calling it being realistic. The point is, stress exposes the gap between who you are and who you're capable of becoming. It's a push, a challenge, a pressure point that invites you to rise. You evolve not by escaping stress, but by decoding it. You ask better questions. You look at the pattern. What triggers it? What do you believe in that moment? What are you avoiding? You can't evolve without pressure. Evolution demands friction. It demands discomfort. That's why the moments when you feel like breaking down are often the same moments where your next breakthrough is being born. When you stop seeing stress as the enemy, you start using it as fuel. You stop trying to eliminate pressure, and you start asking yourself, how do I become stronger under it? It's in the tension that you find your next level. But this only happens when you stop treating stress like a permanent identity and start treating it like a temporary signal. You are not a stressed person. You are a powerful person experiencing stress. That's a huge difference. One keeps you stuck. The other sets you free. And once you see stress through the lens of growth, you stop running from it. You stop fearing it. You use it as feedback, as fire, as a call to level up. When you're stressed, your body is shouting that you need to realign. Your energy is showing you that something is off. And once you tune in instead of shutting down, you take back control. You start making powerful decisions. You start setting new boundaries. You start thinking bigger, acting bolder, showing up more intentionally. You evolve into the version of yourself who doesn't collapse under stress, but commands clarity through it. Because in that moment, stress stops being something that breaks you and starts being something that builds you. Where focus goes, energy flows. Control your focus, control your life. Every moment of your life, your mind is choosing something to focus on. That focus shapes your emotions, your decisions, your confidence, and your direction. The quality of your life doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from what you choose to give your attention to. Two people can go through the same situation, face the same challenge, and have completely different experiences just because they focused on different things. One sees loss, the other sees a lesson. One sees failure, the other sees feedback. That's the power of focus. Most people don't realize that what they focus on, they feel. If you focus on what's missing, you'll feel lack. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll feel overwhelmed. If you focus on what you can't control, you'll feel helpless. But if you shift your focus to what you do have, what is possible, and what you can do right now, your entire energy changes. You begin to feel momentum. You feel certainty. You feel strength rising inside you, not because your problems disappeared, but because your perception evolved. Focus is the gateway to your emotional state. Whatever you consistently focus on becomes your reality. If you live in a state of stress or anxiety, it's because your focus is being pulled toward fear, toward imagined outcomes, toward things that haven't even happened. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined, so the more you focus on worst-case scenarios, the more your body reacts as if they're true. But the moment you reclaim your focus, you reclaim your peace. You reclaim your direction. You stop being a victim of your environment and start becoming the architect of your experience. Focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. But most people let their focus drift. They let distractions, notifications, opinions, and noise hijack their attention. They wonder why they feel drained, stuck, uncertain. It's because their energy is flowing into things that don't serve them. You can't grow while your focus is scattered. You can't thrive while your attention is on everything you can't fix. You have to direct your focus like a laser. Decide what matters. Decide what deserves your energy. Focus on the outcome, not the obstacle. Focus on the solution, not the problem. Focus on who you're becoming, not what you've been through. Whatever you magnify multiplies. When you focus on gratitude, you feel rich no matter what's in your bank account. When you focus on progress, you feel powerful no matter how far you still have to go. When you focus on your vision, you stop being consumed by distractions. Focus gives you clarity. It gives you emotional leverage. It gives you access to choices that don't exist when you're caught in chaos. Focus doesn't mean ignoring the negative. It means being intentional about what you give meaning to. You acknowledge the challenge, but you direct your attention toward growth. You see the pain, but you focus on the lesson. You recognize the fear, but you fix your eyes on your purpose. Every transformation begins with focus. Before your life changes, your mindset changes. Before your mindset shifts, your focus shifts. What you repeatedly focus on becomes what you believe. What you believe shapes how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act. Change your focus and your actions follow. Your results follow. Your life follows. Because where focus goes, energy flows, and that's where your power lives. You don't manage stress, you delete it through decisive action. Stress lingers when decisions are delayed, when action is avoided, when clarity is missing. Most people stay trapped in stress because they keep spinning in their thoughts, replaying the same doubts, asking the same questions, and never moving forward. The longer you sit in indecision, the more power you give to fear. The more you hesitate, the louder stress becomes. It's like a loop that feeds on your inaction. The mind wants certainty, and when it doesn't get it, it creates anxiety. But the fastest way to create certainty is to make a move. Take the first step. Speak the truth. Make the call. Say yes. Say no. Decide. Even if the action isn't perfect, it breaks the pattern of paralysis. Stress thrives in the gap between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it. The wider that gap, the heavier the stress. Action closes that gap. It tells your nervous system, I'm in charge. It tells your mind, we're not waiting around to be overwhelmed. People often think they need to wait for motivation to act, but that's backwards. Action is what creates motivation. When you move, you build momentum. When you decide, you eliminate confusion. When you execute, stress doesn't have space to survive. Most stress doesn't come from the event itself, it comes from avoiding the event. It's the conversation you keep postponing. It's the task you keep pushing. It's the decision you know you need to make but haven't. When you finally face it, when you act, when you move forward, there's a release. You breathe deeper, you stand taller, you stop carrying the invisible weight of avoidance. It's not about doing everything, it's about doing the next right thing, the one thing that clears the fog, the one thing that brings progress. You don't have to figure it all out, just decide the next step and do it now. Decisive action isn't about speed for the sake of movement. It's about aligning your action with your purpose, with your values, with your desired outcome. It's about taking ownership of your time, your focus, your response. Stress has no room when your actions are intentional. People try to manage stress with routines, self-care, distractions, and while those things help, they don't solve the root. Because at the root of stress is stuck energy, and the only way to free stuck energy is to move it. Take bold, clear, committed action in the direction of your highest self. The longer you wait to act, the more your mind complicates things. The problem grows, your confidence shrinks, and the stress compounds. But when you step into action, even a small one, you reverse that pattern. You shrink the problem and expand your confidence. You shift from reactive to proactive, from victim to leader. You don't manage stress by learning to live with it. You remove its source by doing what you've been avoiding. You confront the uncomfortable. You make the choice. You move the needle. And every time you do, your stress loses power. Action is clarity. Action is freedom. Action is the cure to emotional clutter. Every time you act in alignment with your truth, you silence the noise. Every time you follow through on what matters, you train your brain to trust you. Stress disappears not when everything is perfect, but when you take control of what you can, and what you can always control is the action you take next. Your emotional state is a choice. Master it, or be mastered by it. Every day you wake up, you enter into a state of being that sets the tone for your thoughts, your energy, your behavior, and your results. Most people drift into a state by default. They wake up tired, they see a message they don't like, they hear bad news, and suddenly they're frustrated, anxious, or irritated. But that state isn't fate, it's just a reaction, and reactions can be rewired. Your state is shaped by what you focus on, the meaning you give things, and how you use your body. These are all things within your control. When you understand that, you stop waiting for life to make you feel good. You start creating the emotional state you need in order to perform, connect, and live at your peak. You don't need perfect conditions. You need powerful conditioning. The difference between people who live on fire and those who live in frustration isn't their circumstances, it's how they manage their emotional home. Some people have made stress familiar. Others have made joy familiar. Some have wired themselves for overwhelm. Others have wired themselves for peace, certainty, and focus. You become what you practice. If you practice panic, that becomes your pattern. If you practice composure, that becomes your power. Your state is like a muscle. If you train it daily, you can snap into strength no matter what's happening around you. The challenge is, most people have no system to manage their emotions. They ride the highs and lows of life without realizing they have a choice in how they respond. They think emotions are fixed, automatic, uncontrollable. But the truth is, you can interrupt any emotional pattern the moment you become aware of it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can stop, shift your breathing, move your body, ask a better question, and suddenly you're in a different state. It doesn't take hours, it takes intention. You can go from fear to courage, from confusion to clarity, from stress to drive, all by mastering your focus, your language, and your movement. Your physiology is the fastest way to change your state. The way you sit, stand, breathe, and move either creates energy or drains it. Your body sends signals to your brain every second, telling it what to feel. Slouch your shoulders, breathe shallow, look down, your brain thinks it's time to feel small. But stand up, pull your shoulders back, breathe with power, and move with certainty. Your brain gets the message that you're in control. Your language is your second lever. The words you use internally and externally create emotion. Say, I'm devastated, and feel the weight of it. Say, I'm figuring this out, and feel the shift. Change your words and you change the story. Change the story and you change the emotion. Focus is the third lever. Whatever you dwell on, you amplify. If you focus on what's missing, you feel lack. If you focus on what's possible, you feel inspired. Your state always follows your focus. You can train your state like you train your body, with repetition, with intensity, and with awareness. The stronger your state, the more unshakable you become. Chaos can swirl around you, but if you've trained yourself to stay centered, you remain the calm in the storm. You lead yourself first, and from that place you lead others. Most people are waiting for life to make them feel better, but you don't need life to hand you peace, you need to generate it. You don't wait for certainty, you create it. You don't wait for motivation, you embody it. When you master your emotional state, you take back the power that stress, fear, and doubt once held. You become unbreakable not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger, wiser, and more intentional with every challenge you face. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Life will test you, challenge you, and stretch you in ways you never expected. No one escapes difficulty. No one lives untouched by pain. Whether it's physical, emotional, or situational, pain is part of the human experience. It shows up in loss, in failure, in disappointment, in betrayal. But while pain is universal, suffering is a choice. Suffering is the meaning you attach to pain. It's the story you repeat in your mind about why something happened, what it means about you, and what it says about your future. Two people can go through the same painful experience, yet one comes out stronger and wiser, while the other gets stuck in the past. The difference is not the pain itself, but the decision of what to do with it. When you treat pain as a signal, not a sentence, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Pain says, something needs attention. Suffering says, this is permanent and I'm powerless. Pain lasts a moment. Suffering can last a lifetime if you feed it with the wrong focus. You don't eliminate pain by pretending it's not there. You honor it, learn from it, grow through it, but you don't let it define who you are. The mind wants to replay the moment of pain over and over again. It wants to analyze it, justify it, and sometimes use it as a reason to stay small, stay angry, or stay stuck. But freedom begins when you separate the pain from the identity. You are not your setback. You are not your trauma. You are not your past. Pain may shape you, but it does not own you. Suffering grows when you resist what is. When you argue with reality, you lose every time. But the moment you accept what happened without letting it control what happens next, you step into your power. Acceptance doesn't mean agreement. It means choosing peace over paralysis, choosing growth over blame, choosing to move forward even with the scar, because the scar is proof you survived. Your strength isn't measured by how much you avoid pain, but by how well you rise through it. Pain can sharpen your focus, deepen your empathy, increase your clarity. But only if you allow it to become a teacher, not a jailer. Suffering comes when you relive the pain without releasing it, when you carry the weight of an old story into every new moment, when you believe that what happened to you is greater than what's possible for you. But you get to interrupt that story. You get to write a new chapter. The first line begins when you say, I'm done suffering over this. That moment changes everything. Pain tells you something matters. It reminds you that you care. It shows you where you need to heal, grow, shift, or let go. It can wake you up if you've been asleep to your own truth. It can call you forward if you've been settling. But suffering only keeps you circling the same emotional drain. It's the illusion that replaying the past will somehow protect you from more pain, but the only thing it does is delay your breakthrough. Power lives in the decision to stop feeding the pain and start feeding the future. The moment you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now, is the moment you trade suffering for strength. Pain will come, but you decide how long it stays. You decide if it turns into purpose or into poison. You decide if it becomes your fuel or your cage, because the truth is, the same pain that breaks some people builds others. The same weight that crushes some becomes the resistance others used to grow. You don't choose the pain, But you always choose the response.